Yo, what is going on, everyone? Reg here, coming at you today with our first student-centered video here on the channel. And in these student-centered videos, we're going to try and identify skills, concepts, or ideas that we consider essential for learners in any classroom. We're also going to try and keep these videos relatively brief so that students can come in, get the information that they need, and then use it right away in the classroom or even outside of the classroom, hopefully. Um, so in today's video, we're going to take a look at the skill of identifying topic sentences. And in order to do that, we need to actually define topic sentences and figure out what they are. The way we're going to define them here is the most important sentence or sometimes phrase that reveals the author's main idea or ideas. And when we use that term or phrase, most important, you have to think key, think essential. Think this paragraph can't live or exist without this sentence, right? And the reason we're looking at this skill specifically today is so that if we can identify a topic sentence in a paragraph, hopefully we can extrapolate that and bring it to a broader piece of text or a passage or a story, right? So identifying ideas within a paragraph helps us understand broader passages of text. This is a skill for someone who's trying to improve their critical reading. Maybe it's a student, you're a student who's about to go into standardized testing, and you're going to encounter passage-based reading. So this skill we really find essential to all learners because paragraphs usually have one sentence or phrase that is bigger than the rest, which will help with reading comprehension. So how do we find this sentence or phrase that is bigger than the rest? Well, the best way to do it is just to start with an example. Let's throw ourselves right into the fire. And the example that we have here is a little standardized test-ish. It's a little dry, it's a little droll, but I think we can handle it. So let's go into it together. The bay has other treasures, not all at the head of lists. Enormous herring runs, sufficient to support a sizable canning industry and provide the herring roe Virginians like to eat for breakfast with scrambled eggs. Mink, muskrat, nutria, and otter, sad to include, trapped in the lovely marshes of Maryland's Dorchester County, in numbers second only to Louisiana. Sky darkening flocks of migrating and wintering waterfowl in the thickest concentrations on the Atlantic flyway. Whew! Now, if you're still awake after that, if you're still with me, first and foremost, thank you. I appreciate it. But let's try and recall what we just read. All right, the first thing I remember is talking about the bay, right? Then it went into some description of the enormous herring runs, talked about what Virginians like to eat, but it seemed complimentary there, right? Sufficient to support a sizable canning industry. Take note of that. We'll come back to it. All right, next sentence talks about mink and muskrat and all this. Now, you might not be familiar with a lot of those phrases or the words used early on in that sentence, but look what happens at the end of the sentence. It says, in numbers second only to Louisiana. When something is phrased like that, right, second only to Louisiana in this case, that's pretty complimentary. That's pretty kind of awesome, right, if I'm only second to Louisiana in this case. Even if we don't have a frame of reference for what they're referring to, we know that this is kind of like, it seems positive, especially the way the author's presenting it. Then the final sentence talks about sky darkening flocks of migrating wintering waterfowl. All right. Now, whew, after that recall, we have some positive information or positive, it seems like positive examples, right? But let's look at the details. Let's really dig into those sentences we just kind of scanned. We find that the use of language here sufficient to support, again, second only to Louisiana, lovely marshes of Maryland's Dorchester County. Those details, right? Even look at the last one, right? Of the flocks migrating and wintering waterfowl. It's all describing or illustrating the main idea which can be found in the first sentence now. It hits us in the face. These other treasures that are presented to us in the first sentence, right? The bay has other treasures, are told to us in the rest of the paragraph. So we found our topic sentence, which is the bay has other treasures, not all, at the head of lists. And the reason we found that is because we were able to dissect or look at the details. In this case, the herring runs, the muskrat, and then the kind of darkening flocks, and we saw that that illustrated the other treasures that the author first presented to us in that sentence. So That's how you find the topic sentence. I know our example might seem a little simplistic, but if we're able to do it on this level, okay, we should be able to extrapolate that to a more complicated paragraph that might have the topic sentence in the middle or in the end of the paragraph. So, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to, or found it informative, please feel free to leave a like or a comment down below. If you would like to see more of this stuff, or if you would like to actually use some of the resources that we talk about here, feel free to join our Google Classroom, the information of which can be found on the YouTube channel right in the description. If you're having trouble actually joining the Google Classroom with that information, please feel free to email us, and we'll take care of it from there, and we'll get you right into our Google Classroom. But thank you all again for watching. I'll see you all next time.